So Aetna today announcing that it is canceling plans to expand into more states next year. It will actually reassess its involvement in 15 states in their Obamacare in the Obamacare exchanges. Bart McCollum joins us, COO of Ameriflex. He's a health insurance expert, knows all about this. Bart, great to have you here on WILS.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Is now Aetna, how big of a company is Aetna, by the way?
Aetna is, well, okay, so the easiest way to understand it is they're the third largest, basically, health insurer, for-profit health insurer in the country. So there's United Healthcare, there's Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then Aetna. And Aetna insures tens of millions of people across the country.
Now, they're not the first, right, to react and say that these exchanges aren't working for us?
No, they're not. I think probably famously at this point, United Healthcare, which is larger than Aetna, has expressed more pessimism about it a couple of times. And actually, I think in the last couple of days, it said they're going to lose over $1 billion on it this year.
What's happening? Why are these companies losing so much money in the exchanges?
Yeah, I mean, I've referred to the Affordable Care Act as a financial weapon of mass destruction, or a fiscal weapon of mass destruction. And Mark Bertolini, the CEO of Aetna, gave an interview, I guess, yesterday, and he used similar language. He said, this could blow up our balance sheet. Mm-hmm. It's just a simple matter of a law that ignores laws of nature. It ignores laws of mathematics. The risk pool is simply way too expensive to be sustainable because the law forces these insurance companies to overcharge young, healthy people who are supposed to sort of balance out the risk pool for the sick people that the law then requires insurance companies to
cover. Oh, now, the insurance companies, do they have to, by law, be part of the exchanges? Or?
Well, no, they don't. In fact, one of the things that United has said is that they've stopped their expansion of it, and they're talking about potentially just pulling out completely maybe next year. Aetna's saying, they're not being as pessimistic. They're saying, we're going to see how it goes. We're not going to continue our expansion, but we still are going to hold out some hope.
What is it they imagine would change this dynamic of costing so much?
Well, I mean, there has to be a few years of people enrolling in these plans and just seeing how that risk pool stabilizes. Mm-hmm. I think part of it is just wanting to be optimistic. I think, nothing else changes. The laws of nature aren't going to change, and we're going to continue to see these problems. What
happens to the exchanges, though? Once you have the major companies pulling out, what does that leave then?
Well, it does. It leaves us all in a bad spot. There's going to be fewer options, and the health plans that are in those exchanges right now aren't so great. Mm-hmm. And the dream that was sold when this law was passed was we're going to insure the uninsured. We're going to insure uninsured Americans. And to some degree, they've done that. But have they improved care? No. Are they improving life expectancy? No. Are they doing it in a way that's affordable and it's not going to be a huge burden on the American taxpayer? No. Mm-hmm. They didn't solve any of those problems. And those are much more fundamental problems.
Talking to Bart McCollum with Ameriflex, myameriflex.com. What do you do at Ameriflex?
Ameriflex really tries to find ways to help Americans and American families pay for health care. So this is something we're involved with and have a passion for every single day.
And how do you go about that, then?
We offer consumer-directed health care benefits like health savings accounts, which are growing dramatically every single year, flexible spending accounts. We try to make it easier for people to budget for their health care expenses, to pay for their health care expenses, because of this law, in addition to more premium being paid, people have higher deductibles.
So how does it compare, what you're dealing with then, these, especially the savings accounts, how does that compare to getting your insurance through the Obamacare exchange?
Well, our account can supplement that. So if you go into an Obamacare exchange or you have any kind of a health care policy where you have a high deductible, meaning you're going to pay a lot of your premiums and a lot of your claims out of pocket before the insurance even does anything, mm-hmm. You can have a health savings account in some cases underneath that where you can at least save some money on taxes. So you're going to be paying those expenses out of your own pocket, but you're going to at least save some money on taxes. And that's a significant savings for a lot of people.
What do you see as the future of Obamacare?
That's a great question. I couldn't even tell you who's going to be elected president, so that's a very difficult thing to say. I will tell you this. The people in Congress who were around when Obamacare was passed That was such a difficult law to get through that the vast majority of people in Congress are not there anymore. So the people that are there now and whoever is elected president at the end of this year have almost no dog in the hunt with the Affordable Care Act. And so it's easy for them to distance themselves from it. And so I think there's going to be some big changes to the law. I just can't tell you what those changes are going to be.
Do you think it can be taken apart and something better put in its place?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're, in this country, we can innovate our way around anything, and I think that can definitely happen. It's going to be difficult, obviously, just because the healthcare juggernaut that we have is so complex.
Because I'm seeing here about 11.1 million people enrolled in Obamacare this year. I don't know the total, but I wonder what do you imagine happening with all these people that have healthcare through Obamacare? How are we going to move them into something else?
Well, I think, the most likely thing to happen is the government's going to have to backstop this. So if the Aetnas and the United Healthcares of the world are going to have their balance sheets blow up or not be able to sustain this, I think the American taxpayer is going to have to swing in and cover that. And that's the part that's, it's going to be unfortunate because the way the law works, people aren't having better health outcomes. They're not living longer. They might be able to say they have health insurance, but they're not getting care.
Now, didn't President Obama, didn't he sit down with the insurance companies and didn't they help mold this Obamacare structure with him?
Yes, they absolutely did. And for a couple of years, the federal government had risk corridors, which is just a fancy way of saying that they were kind of backstopping this. And so, they wanted to be at the table because they had no idea what was going to come out of the sausage factory.
Do you think they walked away thinking, well, this is where we're going to end up anyway, or did they just not have that foresight?
I don't know. There's a lot of really, really smart people on both sides. I think people at both the health insurance companies and I think people in government probably knew this was a big risk, but they wanted to be able to sell the dream. We're going to insure the uninsured. Now we're going to deal with the nightmare.
It seems so predictable, though, doesn't it, that the young people wouldn't sign up for it unless they had to? And I'm not sure if they really would. There's a penalty, right, if you don't sign up at this point, but it's pretty minimal.
Yeah, there's a tax penalty, but it's cheaper for a lot of people than paying way too much for health care that isn't going to provide value.
Yeah, I wonder why do you think they imagine that young people who hardly need health care typically would rush out and start paying this money for it?
I don't know. I think optimism. I mean, I don't say that there was malice with this. I think there's a lot of optimism out there and thinking people would be more excited about this than they are. And a lot of it is people want to be able to sell the dream, and then the people that sold the dream aren't dealing with the nightmares. So there's some short-term thinking with people that are, trying to win political points.
Well, and the insurance companies, they're walking away scot-free. Is that what's happening here? If it's not working out for them, they can just leave it alone and let it die?
Well, I mean, United's reporting they're going to lose $1 billion this year. Aetna's reporting they're going to lose over $200 million. So I don't know if that's scot-free.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Although they're going to stop the bleeding fairly quickly, I'm guessing, if that continues.
Well, they have an obligation to their policyholders. They have to be able to pay health insurance claims, right? And not to mention they have shareholders, too.
Bart McCollum, COO of Ameriflex. So you can find them online at myameriflex.com. Bart, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.